Hey gang, Roden here. Welcome on back to the Cade and another episode of Sports Saturday. We are at the final week, even though it says currently week 16 on the board, of our regular season for 2001 in our great what-if scenario of establishing the New England Patriots dynasty without Tom Brady here on Sega Sports NFL 2K2. In the last episode, we managed to eke out a win, really. It should have been a lot more competitive than it was. 14-0 to get the season sweep over the Buffalo Bills. That put us at 13-2 on the year. It gave us sole possession of first place for the top record in the league and home field advantage through the playoffs. But we've got to close out the regular season here against the Miami Dolphins, who we beat also earlier in the season. But this time we're taking them on at home in Foxborough. So we will not waste any time getting to this one. And hopefully this one will be a little bit less frustrating than our last couple of games. Because against Cleveland and Buffalo, man, we were not really able to do very much. Any opportunities we were trying to get to run the football consistently, Buffalo was just snuffing it out left and right. And then we got really lucky on a couple of passes with Drew, but he's just not consistent enough. So one of the things I got to think about as we get ready to go into the postseason and then the offseason is maybe do I start looking at, along with revamping the offensive line, which desperately needs it, and we need to overhaul the receiving core, do I also start looking at picking up a new quarterback? It'll be interesting to figure out how the offseason is designed on this game. I'm so used to... I've played Madden and other variations of games for decades, and the thing I always liked about Madden was that their offseason schedule of like the draft and scouting players and all that stuff was one of the things about the franchise mode on Madden that I always liked, and it always bugged me when it came to how Madden has devolved over the years. The EA has insisted on taking more of those features out, of course, to make it more of a live service game, focus on Ultimate Team, and all the stuff that guys like me just don't. We're not looking to play that stuff in football games. We just want to be able to build our team, go through the year. A lot of players like me, we treat this like another version of fantasy football, which ultimately is what all these games are. It's wish fulfillment. It is you're running your favorite team, and you get to do everything that goes with it. So Ray Lucas is the quarterback this week for the Miami Dolphins. So it looks like he emerged as the starter away from Jay Fiedler. The only other guy that they had on their squad was Cade McNown, who was part of that vaunted 98-99 draft class that turned out to be more busts than booms. And he was among the biggest busts of that draft. So it'll be 4th and 6.
Some great field position here, Dan.
Yeah, they're probably going to punt it away, and that is going to hurt. Turk comes in to punt after a 3-and-out.
But looking at the in-season management stuff you can do, there's not a lot to it in this game. Which again, now being 22 years old, is not a huge surprise. But if we're able to have a draft, or we're able to get free agents and update contracts and stuff like that, then that might be worth it. If not, we may end up hamstringing ourselves more than we want to. Now, the other thing I have to be very cognizant of in this game is that we need to make sure that everybody gets out of it healthy. We can't afford to have Drew go down with an injury, and he got banged up in that Buffalo game. He was out for early in the first quarter with a twisted knee. Fortunately, he was only out for 4 plays. but we cannot afford to have J.R. Redmond go down, and we cannot afford to have Bledsoe go down.
It's all about speed and being determined to get the yards you need.
It's 1st and 10, and we are on Miami's side of the field at their 38-yard line. So we're in good shape right now. And, of course, they bust right through my offensive line again and poleaxe him with Jason Taylor, the Hall of Famer. And that's the thing that I'm seeing more of later on in the year. And it was something I talked a lot about during the Buffalo game. So my offensive line is so porous that Drew has no time to really stop and be able to figure out where his receivers are and then let the ball go with any measure of consistency.
J.R. Redmond moves the football down to within spitting distance of 3rd down.
Well, I'm sure he'd rather be over the line, but that's a good run, and it leaves his team in good shape to convert.
So it'll be 3rd and 10. Now, to be fair, Jason Taylor is a Hall of Famer. He was no slouch in his time in the NFL. So I am all for giving credit where it's due, and he gets sacked again. This time, Bromell is there.
So Bromell spied an opening and pounded through to smack the QB around. A decisive win for the defense.
So 2 sacks on this drive, and we've got to punt it away again.
Costello comes in and will punt for the first time this game.
I'm so used to having teams where I can build a much more high-powered offense. This very much feels like the Patriots in the last 2-3 years of the Brady Belichick era, and very much in the Mac Jones era.
To keep the crowd noisy and enthusiastic, so they'll try to shut down these early
Where it does make me
drives.
wonder if we have like a Matt Patricia type trying to run the offense and he's not designed for it.
0-0.
Meanwhile, Lucas is able to throw it to guys who make one-handed catches, no problem. It's a 3-yard pickup, but
The ball one-handed and continue with his run. It's 2nd and about 7 yards.
I mean, this is something that shows you the fundamental difference between playing offense and playing defense in this game.
From shotgun. Tosses left. Outside.
I mean, if a guy like Ray Lucas can be able to find open guys
First down.
that far downfield, why can't Drew Bledsoe, who's an
run to that catch?
Yeah, it's always
infinitely
nice
more
to see a
skilled
receiver
and better
who
quarterback than Ray Lucas ever
That's why
was?
receivers in today's NFL have to
But
be
it's all down to the quality of the offensive line that Miami has. My guys can't get through to rough him up.
barely gets it off.
So that's 3 completions in a row for Ray Lucas.
Play and inches it just past the marker for another first.
O.J. McDuffie
And
knew
I've
he
been
wasn't gonna
sacked
make it on speed
twice
alone, so he added a little stiff
on
arm action
3
to
pass
propel
plays
himself past the first
for
down mark.
major losses.
Fantastic effort, Peter. It's the end of the first quarter, and it's still a scoreless game. All at the 42-yard line.
And their running back is able to start busting out for some
Smashes way through the
yardage.
defense, but was rebuffed. Still a pretty good run.
2nd and 4.
It is the sort of stuff that you find in these sorts of games that when I look at TikTok videos, of which I do very rarely, but
He throws this one away. The
Uh,
pass is incomplete.
and I see videos on social media of kids and and especially grown adults throwing a fit and like destroying their TV or going absolutely apoplectic because of how games like this are designed and running into these sorts of problems. On the one hand, I get it. On the other, I have to remind myself of, dude, it's just a game.
Incomplete. They missed their
And it's not worth destroying hundreds of dollars worth of property over.
Nice defense.
When all you have to do is just lean down and turn it off and go do something more productive. But I get the frustration because it's the same way we are with actual sports. We want our teams to win. We want them to do well. We want them to do everything that we know they should be able to do. And when they don't, it's beyond exasperating. And that's what being a fan is. And people who aren't into sports, I mean, I'm not judging anybody who isn't. You like what you like, you don't like what you don't like. But people who look at people like me who are lifelong sports fans of all types and think, you know, we've got a screw loose or whatnot. The way I explain it is that because you build up your... It's not necessarily that you look at it in terms of being an identifier, but it's when the team does well, you genuinely feel better. And when your teams suck, it can be it's not only exhausting, it can be life deflating. It really can be. And another sack. I saw Gardner coming up the middle. I tried to step out of the way. He picked up that block, and as soon as I let it go, Gardner still went right by my guy and put Drew down for the third sack today. It's stuff like this that when your team is functioning this badly, it's where you start getting like the real diehards and the lifelong fans will be sitting here. They're the ones that start calling for coaches' heads, for the owners' heads, for players' heads, for everything. They'll be calling for the heads of the people running the concession stand before too long. Because you just want something, anything to start working so you can see your team win.
The Dolphins have the ball after the punt and an opportunity to take the lead. The score.
And it's, on the one hand, it's why we love sports, and on the other hand, it's why we absolutely hate it.
It's caught sideline. Buckley makes the stop.
That should have been a pick. Katzenmoyer was right there to pick that off.
Nothing fancy there, just stood still as a statue and let the ball come to him.
Ball at the 45-yard line.
And if he had been able to pick that off, that would have been 6 points because there was nothing between him and the end zone. And he goes nowhere this time. Teddy Bruschi went right through that
I
A-gap.
know this from experience. It warms a lineman's heart to see his opponent's end zone getting closer.
And we are at the
instead of
2-minute
farther
warning.
away.
Brilliant. Sounds like a lineman's observation.
It is, yeah, I'm telling you.
We've reached the 2-minute warning, and it's still 0-0.
So we'll get the ball to start the second half, but man, I want points on the board before we hit the locker room. Gets flushed out of the pocket and chucked it.
I found the secret formula for success on either the run or the pass.
Well, both have been great today, Peter. I don't see what.
So it has very much been a punt fest through the majority of the first half.
His third punt of the game.
They've punted 3 times. We've punted twice. This one's going to get shanked out of bounds. Or is it?
Jones has it. Jones runs out.
I should have been able to let that one go.
Not really sure what he was trying to do there.
The Patriots really start this one out in a hole. They just got to forget about the end zone behind them.
First and 10 at our 12-yard line.
Have the ball after the punt and an opportunity to score 0-0. Tackles him a couple of yards back.
And again, the linebackers get through my offensive line. They hit Redmond once. And that's enough to keep him off balance and make it so the rest of the defense can come in and get him. And they're forcing us to throw, which means they can send the hounds through my line, and Drew just has no time to throw. just got that one away.
But he will have the first down.
They saw the blitz coming and shut it down.
That is so crucial if they can pick up the rush like that. Once he has enough time, the quarterback can see all kinds of possibilities downfield.
Great job.
A minute and 33 seconds left. Incomplete.
And that one should have been caught because I was expecting
Lucky not to be saddled with an
Brown to
interception there,
bank
Dan. They were kind of
left
all over
going
the
for the
place out
quarter.
That was not
And
a
he
smart
didn't.
throw, Peter.
So that stops the clock with a minute 19 to go.
Clock shows a minute
We still have our
19
timeouts.
left. Stops that.
It's, Taylor just came right through the line. Don't mind me. I'm going to be in the
there.
backfield
Nowhere
and
to
be
run,
in your
baby.
lap
No place
before
to
you
pass
can
to
move.
either, with these guys on the case.
It's 3rd and 11. We have a flag on the
And we're going to back it up 5 yards because, again, my offensive line cannot do their job.
Ian Woody, that's the flag for the false start. He might have been trying to fake somebody off sides, but didn't work.
It's now 3rd and 16.
So it's 3rd and 16. Oh, we got it to Brown, and he's got a seam. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, New England. Oh, my goodness. Well, how about that one?
Sized extra value pass and then run it in.
You've got to value
He got that. If that had been away a second longer, that would have been a sack.
turn them into points on the board.
If that. But Brown got behind everybody and went the length of the field. I said we needed points going into the locker room. Boy, did we just get it and then some.
Vinatieri lines up for the point after.
And Drew has the arm to do that stuff. It's that I have receivers who can't do that the majority of the time.
The Patriots with the first points of the game on the board. 7-0.
5 plays, 87 yards, and a $103, 75 yards from Bledsoe to Brown, pitch and catch. And then Troy took care of the rest.
Lines up for the kickoff. Got his leg behind this one.
I genuinely did not think that was going to happen.
Ogden deals it in the end zone. Will make the tackle on the
I was thinking if we're lucky, we get the first
Their
down.
offense off life support here.
And I had 3
A couple
timeouts so I
first
could
downs
then
will go
use
a long
them, and
way
that's
to that
fine.
end.
I can do that.
33 seconds.
But going all the way in for 6? I've only been able to do that once this year. And I don't remember who it was against, but it was another one from
And a penalty marker on the play.
Drew to Brown.
Ball from the field.
And instead of it just being a go route where they just run straight down the field and try and get past everybody, it was one where it was a post route where they go downfield about 10 yards and then bank
Got a
left or
little jump
right.
There, and he draws the false start call.
Thirty-three seconds left.
But that's like your chances of hitting a home run in baseball. It's 1 in 16. Those odds aren't very good.
It's picked up. Brings it on. He runs out, and that will
Aronde Gadsden, the former Portland State University product.
There, Dan. That ball found its mark perfectly with the runner just.
He had an interesting story. He was here in
he didn't
the
have
Pacific Northwest,
clock is down.
and when the Arena Football League was still going, Portland had for, I think they had 3 different Arena League football teams in about a 4-year span. And one of them was the Portland Forest Dragons. And I was living in the area at the time. And when Aronde Gadsden was on that team, he was obviously a wide receiver. And he proved to be good enough
It's now 3rd and 6.
that there was a whole lot of consideration of him getting brought up to the NFL, and the Dolphins picked him up. He didn't have a long career, as I recall, but It was definitely a feel-good story.
He's brought down, and yes, he will be just past the marker. Nice job on third down. 23 seconds left. Fires at middle. Brings it in, and he's brought down right away. But the pass
So they're going to take a timeout here.
the Dolphins stops the clock and
Got
uses their
16
second
seconds to
timeout.
go.
First down, 10 yards to go. Timeout.
Clock reads
And Miami is moving. Nugent tackled him, but hey, grab another couple of yards on me. Why not? He couldn't tackle him and move him backwards. He tackled him and moved him forwards.
Timeout.
That's not helpful. They got 12 seconds left and 55 yards to go. They're well out of
12 seconds on the game clock.
field goal range. And this time he trips him up. And it's incomplete, and we go to the locker room with a 7-0 lead. So we haven't been able to do much on the ground, and were it not for that 75-yard strike, we'd be still looking at a scoreless game here. So now we need a good clock-consuming drive here to open the second half. And hopefully adding 6 more points on the board.
Gets it deep. 33 comes in and
Decent return, gets us up past the 25 to the
Having a
26.
field day on offense. Both passing and running the football have worked.
first and 10. Wriggles out of the backfield.
And Redmond with a big run. Still moving upfield.
Give him the first down.
J.R. Redmond didn't have to fight very hard to get the first down there.
It was a good
Huge hole on that right side, and Edwards with a big block there to really spring him into the secondary. And now we're already up near midfield.
first and 10.
So we 1st and 10 on the 20-yard pickup.
Pitches it.
And we go back 3 yards.
Job.
Derek Rogers was all over that play from snap to whistle.
Not only does he dismantle the play, he penetrates enough to actually make them lose a few yards. That is superb effort. Ball on the 42.
So 2nd and 13.
Barely gets it off. Two incomplete.
Emmanuel was right there wide open, and he dropped it.
Bledsoe was in big
That
trouble
could
in
have
that
been
one game.
6
Tossing it
points
away
right
looked like the
there.
smart choice to me.
Yeah, I
And
definitely think
dude
they would've
freaking
popped him for the
dropped it.
sack
I put it
otherwise.
right in his hands. And he dropped it.
It's 3rd and about 13. Spirals at middle, and again.
And this one goes incomplete.
That's 3 in a row, and it's going to be 4th down.
The Patriots had to come up with a big play and didn't.
3rd and long is so.
Oh, I came up with a big play.
Costello lines up, and this will
I came up with a really good big play. It was that the guy on the other end of that really good big play has boards for hands. There's a reason why Bert Emanuel is not a Hall of Famer.
Ogden catches it. Makes the tackle on the return.
If anything, I should be able to see. Yeah, I'm going to take out Bert Emanuel. going to put David Patton in because David Patton is actually a better receiver.
First down, Dolphins.
The Dolphins are on the field, and we'll see if
David Patton was key in helping us get those first 3 Super Bowls. He came up really clutch in a lot of games.
dodges the defender. Efficient and effective running up the middle, give him the first down.
Rob Conrad covered a lot of ground on that play. That's a great run.
And that gives them the first down.
So Miami's going to run the ball, which they haven't done since the Larry Zonka, Jim Kick, Mercury Morris era. And if you're insistent on doing that, then I will meet you at the line.
Slices through and stops the play right in its tracks. Nice read.
They came up empty on that play. You know, you've got to admire a player like that, Peter. He's all field smart.
Absolutely. He saw where that play was going right from the snap.
All at the 36-yard line. Comes the left. Out near the sideline. Penalty marker down on the play. Let's listen to the call.
What's the penalty? Holding on the offense. Yeah, we will take them, back him up 10 yards.
Known he was going to lose him and got too aggressive, drawing the holding call.
Second and 20.
Explains why we couldn't get to Lucas for a potential sack.
Dumps it off. Found it to 21. Gets in after a couple of yards and makes
Now he picks up 2.
It will be third and a long way to go.
18 yards to go.
Third and 18.
3rd and 18.
Throws middle. Passes no.
And incomplete. They're looking for Gadsden, but we had a couple of guys there on the scene. It'll be 4th and long, and they're going to have to punt it away again.
3 and out. Good punt here.
Brown will take it our 25. Up near midfield, so a good return.
Return. Some nice open field running there.
The Patriots will have a fair start. That's the kind of field position they were hoping for.
The Patriots are on the field after the punt. They're up 7-0. It's picked up. Makes that sack.
Let the ball go, and already Zach Thomas was there as the ball was should have been on its way out.
Farther from the first down.
I saw Patton open, let it go, and then Thomas got to him before he released the ball.
Every dumb linebacker joke I ever made, except for the one about the rhinoceros and the
Yeah.
beanbag chair.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of like that one.
Ball on the 42.
And Redmond gets backed up even more.
Well, we've got a couple of losses in a row. Good defense.
Sam Madison did a great job sticking to that defense like flypaper.
They ran out of choice and ran out of room and ended up nowhere. It's third and 19.
So 3rd and long, and looks like we're going to have to try and go downfield again. And he gets sacked again. Of course he does.
Big defensive play.
Darryl Gardner makes a critical play there to force the 4th down and bring on the punting unit.
How far do we get knocked back now? It's what, 3rd and 30? Yep, 4th and 30. How pathetic was that drive?
He's ready for his 4th punt of the game.
I've got no speed on wideouts and no protection up front. It staggers me that we have the record that we do. It really does.
Ogden catches it.
That we are 13-2 on the season and are going to be the #1 seed going into the
Better
playoffs.
get something going on offense
Defies
today.
logic.
Make some changes, adjust, do anything to get their offense producing at this point.
The Dolphins had their defense forced to punt. Now let's see if
Because I will have to look and see how many times Drew has been sacked this year. It's got to be quite a few.
nails him in the backfield and makes a great tackle to push.
But at least our defense is holding
Man,
up.
they're getting their helmets handed to them out there.
Well, I tell you, if an offense can't get some positive yardage, I mean, what are they?
Well, I think they're just a bunch of individuals and not a team.
All at the 32-yard line.
Pretty accurate.
That was caught. That should have been a sack. I had a guy going right through the line trying to get right to him, and he couldn't get through him.
It's the end of the third quarter. The Patriots currently enjoying a slight advantage.
But my guys just have no ability to block up front at all. That does not make any sense to me. If you've played this game as long as I have been playing it this season, and you've experienced similar stuff with this, leave me a comment about it. Because I, for the life of me, cannot figure out why it is
Look how much more effective they are at stopping the run. Credit has to go to the
that
D-line, who are playing some of the best football they've ever played.
this game is, the mechanics are structured that way. It may be just the fact that I have a truly crap offensive line. But I've got Damian Woody up front, who's a Hall of Famer. And at this point, it doesn't look like he could stop a sneeze from happening, let alone
Will make the tackle on the return.
stop a 300-pound guy coming through the line from sacking Drew Bledsoe.
Not enough time left for mistakes.
The Patriots are on the field after the punt. They're up 7-0.
So Redmond picks up the first down.
First and 10. Doesn't let that play get
And he gets 4 more on that run.
a gain of 4.
Second down, 6 yards to go.
Ball at the 49-yard line.
Oh, and he fumbled the ball, of course. Because once again, Miami broke through and sacked Drew Bledsoe. Because again, my offensive line can't stop anybody. But I gotta throw it.
We have to see if the offense can bounce back from such a setback.
A setback. That's like
I
saying
can't just
ice
keep
skating
running
is
it.
a minor
I have to be able to throw the ball downfield.
3rd and 21. Shotgun. Incomplete.
Looking for Patton, and that was almost picked off. So we're going to have to punt it again on 4th and 21.
Right, I say they kick it away and rely on that defense to finish the job. Costello comes in to punt after a 3-and-out.
At this rate, I cannot imagine we're going to get very far in the playoffs. Unless the highly improbable happens where my offensive line suddenly realizes they're supposed to stop the guys with different colored jerseys in front of them.
Makes the stop on the return.
Then if we end up facing New Orleans or...
As this one cruises to a close
I mean, we're after the Super Bowl to face New Orleans, but with how badly they did against Buffalo last week, it is very, very possible that we could be one and done.
The Dolphins had their defense forced to punt. Now let's see if their offense can score. Currently they trail 7-0. Make sure he doesn't get far and tackles him right past the line of scrimmage. Gain of 1.
9 yards.
It's 2nd and 9.
He's 2nd and 9. He tried to run over my guys up front, but then the linebackers came in and was like, no, you're not getting anywhere. So 3rd and 9.
We've reached the 2-minute warning.
And that brings us to the 2-minute warning. So
Small advantage. 7-0. 2 minutes on the game clock.
we both have all 3 of our timeouts. They're working on the shotgun here on 3rd and 9. And they only pick up a couple of yards. So it's 4th and 5, and they're going to go for it. Does not surprise me.
It looks like they're going for it on 4th and 5. Spirals it left.
And it's caught. Of course it is, because their guys can come back and have enough time to go get the ball.
The Dolphins.
Where my guys just, we don't have that.
1 minute, 32 seconds left.
And yet the Dolphins have a worse record than New England does.
Incomplete.
Ray Lucas was really feeling the heat on that one, Dan. I think that affected the pass.
Oh, without a doubt, Peter, they were gunning for it.
You know, he must have felt like he was the last tray in the buffet and I had just gotten off work.
Ooh, boy, that's certain doom.
All right, 2nd and 10. Split backfield.
Dumps it left. Makes the tackle.
And they're able to get it to the running back for a pickup of 9.
Second timeout.
1 yard to go. Timeout.
3rd and 1.
And if they score here, they'll tie it up with the extra point. So I got to make sure that they can't get to the end zone. Picked off.
30 out in front of everybody. 45. Is tackled after a
Oh, we needed that.
to come away with the interception.
Terrell Buckley.
No question about it. That's an interception he'll
Throwing off
love
his
for the
back
Bears.
foot, and he was in the right place, the right time.
Oh, that's what I love about this game, Dan. Anything can happen, and anybody can win the game for his team.
So now with 1:12 to go, all we gotta do is run the clock out. And we'll eke out yet another win. But that we are not being able to produce points. We're not able to consistently move the ball upfield.
Look at this stat here. Once he takes that first hit, he keeps on pushing for a whole lot more.
The Dolphins.
I mean, I have a lot more questions than answers at this point as we get ready to go into the postseason.
Redmond gets it. Doesn't let him get far and makes the tackle. That will bring up 3rd and short.
It'll be 3rd and 2.
53 seconds left.
We need 2 yards for a first down.
Escapes out of the backfield.
And we got it.
Down, and he will be well past the marker. First down. 33 seconds left.
All right, so 30 seconds left.
It's a field.
A change from the first half of this game. The coach must have really said something to him during halftime.
2nd down. 5 yards to go.
Just 11 seconds remaining.
And we'll have enough time to get one more play off.
Comes the blitz. They pick it up. Throws.
And he gets it to Johnson for a touchdown to end the ball game. So we finally managed to get something working through the air again on the very final play of the game, and we win 13-0. So that concludes the regular season. We go 14-2, which is well above where we were in actuality at this point in the 2001 season. As a reminder, New England went 11-5 and finished first in the AFC East in 2001. And then we ended up taking on Oakland in the divisional playoffs, now Las Vegas. That was the Adam Vinatieri Tuck Rule game. Then we went on and beat the Steelers in the AFC Championship game 24-17, and then had the great upset against the Rams 20-17. So, looking ahead, we do get a bye this week, which makes perfect sense being the number 1 seed. So we'll simulate this week. And we'll start the playoffs now. So we have the wild card round. And it'll be the Bills, Raiders, Ravens, Titans, Rams, Redskins, Vikings, 49ers. So we can advance through this one. And it will be the Patriots and the Raiders again in the divisional playoff, just like it was in 2001. And then we have the Broncos versus the Ravens, the Saints versus the Niners, and the Giants versus the Rams. So it is shaping up potentially we could have the actual Super Bowl 36 between New England and St. Louis. But we got a lot of football to play between now and then. But that, everybody, is Sports Saturday for this week. If you've been enjoying the content on the channel, you know how to show it. Also, be sure to tune in to Sucker Punch Sunday tomorrow, where we play a classic fighting platform-based game from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation. Also, be sure to tune in to our ongoing playthrough of Super Robot Wars Alpha Gaiden for the PS1 from 2001. We're having a lot of fun recording those episodes. And as we've been saying, since the Retrocade is going to be closed for November, at least as far as recording new episodes will go, we are stockpiling what we've got now in October to get ready for that. So, if anything, we will have content that we will be posting. It just won't be fresh off the presses. So, but we're going to do it that way. That way we can make sure you guys have stuff to watch while I am currently working on my November project that is going to require a fair amount of time, but it is of great importance to me that I get it done. But then once we get back around to December, hopefully that project will be wrapped, and then I can get started back up recording new episodes. Be sure to follow us on social media through Instagram and Threads at Ronan's Retrocade. Help spread the word about us as we're trying to make this channel bigger and better for everybody. My name is Ronan. It's been great to spend this Sports Saturday with you. Be safe, be well, happy gaming, and we will talk to you tomorrow for Sucker Punch Sunday. Bye.